4, 3. And welcome to Stone Soup Poetry tonight. I'm coming at you live, or I'm coming at you after the fact if you're watching this on YouTube. If so, welcome. I'm coming at you from my brand new office. I shared pictures of it on Facebook and elsewhere. And it's an impressive array of books, I hope. That'll show that I am well read. And I won't tell you exactly how many I've read on the shelf. That's a dirty secret that all of us book collectors have. We've collected more than we've read, but I'm actually learning to read again in terms of being able to read for pleasure. That was just my precariously placed tower crashing on the floor because my desk looks worse than my bookshelf. So let's just keep on going.
Oh my God, elephants! Elephants, watch out! There are elephants! Elephants are everywhere! The elephants are coming! Watch out, the elephants! The elephants! Ah!
And oddly enough, I needed that. Okay.
I hate when that happens.
Okay. All right. Clearly, I've already lost control of my own reading. So it's an all open mic tonight, and hopefully we'll have more people announced for Thursday and Friday. But we'll see what happens. But let's go to let's address the elephant in the room, or the elephant in his room, as I put him down first for the open mic. And here he is right now, Mr. Bill Lewis.
Excuse me, I was having trouble with some of my zombies. I know you know about zombies, so I won't go into disgusting detail of that. I am so happy to see you. Oh, you're the pie of my eye, the glory of the day. I look forward to coming out here and seeing all of you and doing stuff. And even if it's all good, as my sister loves to say. I don't agree that it's all good, but close enough. And I've been working hard and getting stuff done, and there is nothing like students, man. Keep you alive, kids. Yes, kids rock. Oh my goodness gracious. So I'm just feeling good and energetic, and we had a great time, and I'm looking forward to spending more time with my young what do you call them? Acolytes. Are they acolytes? Whatever. They make me feel good and happy. COVID. 503,000. America. 331,420,000. We win. We win. Life wins. Why, we practically won already. Masks, ventilators, PPE. All those terms are going to be soon forgotten. Look at us, world. Look at us now. We survived what you gave us, and we are thriving. Woohoo, wow. They told us we snowflakes would melt in the heat, but my friends are all dancing now out in the street. The chips were down. They thought we were beat, but we hung together, an incredible feat. I helped my brother, my sister helped me. Together we are building the world that shall be. The future is ours. It's as bright as the sun. Now you make it brighter. You be the one. I always feel like I sound like Dr. Seuss, but I like Dr. Seuss, so I'm going to go with it.
Thank you very much, Bill. And with that, let's move on to the next person who has the unenviable task of topping that. Holy hell. Let's see. We have Mr. John Weswick next, past Stone Soup feature himself in this online virtual world. Welcome back, John.
Thanks, Chad. My camera's just kind of turning on here. So this is called Poster on the Edge of Forever. The gas giant planet's orange glow illuminates marshmallow trees outside my window. Hydrogen-filled balloon sharks gather in the clouds and wait to ambush unsuspecting campers. Some may contain sulfites as a preservative. My Farrah Fawcett poster's edges curl with age. After all these years, I still long to feel those huge white teeth sink into my delicate flesh. After the smell of cigarette smoke reminds me of Dieter and the cement shack we shared in Ecuador's Central Highlands, so far from the M33 galaxy. We moved there from a small Kansas farming community after Mother died, and Farah, much younger then, adorned the wall next to the window that looked out on banana trees dusted with methane ice and frozen carbon dioxide. An old rusted grocery cart lay on its side in the concrete gutter by the railroad tracks. On Tuesdays, the steam locomotive chugged into town, bringing basalt, iron ore, and vials of Ebola virus. Happily drunk on ammonia and organic compounds, Farah, Dieter, and I lived in the jungle, but when the train derailed, I arrived first on the scene, forced open the baggage car's door, and found thousands of headless Barbies. Vultures fed on carrion and screech sounding like the crash of a Viking spacecraft. Trying to forget, we feasted on hellfire and damnation cookies, but it was no good. Dieter's red lipstick smudged the coffee cup rims, and the rainwater tasted of dust. He complained about Farah's eyeliner. Look at yourself in the mirror, he screamed. Mirror, she scoffed. I navigate by echolocation. What use do I have for mirrors?
Very nice. What do we have next? Yes. Let's welcome up the man I like to call Gentleman Galt. Mr. Galt, let's go back to gallery. Let's find you. Let's ask to unmute you, and welcome back to the open mic, sir.
Thank you. This piece is called War Games. Mike had a complete arsenal in his room. He had all kinds of machine guns, grenades, rifles, pistols, and even a bazooka. He had a camouflaged outfit and a green beret. That allowed him to be the colonel just about all the time. Whenever we reenacted the previous episode of Combat, he brought his stockpile to his front yard. We would select our weapons of choice. Then we would go through the whole battle, just as we had seen it on TV. One night, Mark wanted to be the colonel. Todd was the captain. Mark was usually sergeant. I was either a private or a corporal at best, when they let me play at all. But that night, Mark wanted to be the colonel. Mike explained all the reasons why Mark couldn't be the colonel. He owned the uniform. It wouldn't fit him anyway. He owned all the guns. He was a natural leader of men. Mark said it wasn't fair. Mike called Mark a faggot, then punched him in the stomach real hard. Mark crumpled to the ground crying. I couldn't see the tears. I could see the tears roll down his face. I had never seen Mark cry before. He was tough. He would have made a good colonel. We didn't have the battle that night. As I walked home that night, I knew I had seen war. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed.
This is one of those things we were looking for this poem. We're looking for it so long, I just gave up, you know? And then James found it today in one of his photo albums. It's by Wolcott Gibbs, called Declaration of Independence. He will just do nothing at all. He will just sit there in the noonday sun. And when they speak to him, he will not answer them because he does not wish to. And when they tell him to eat his dinner, he will just laugh at them, and he will not take his nap because he does not care to. He will just sit there in the noonday sun. He will go away and play with the panda. And when they come to look for him, he will stick them with spears and put them in the garbage and put the cover on. And he will not go out in the fresh air nor eat his vegetables, and he will grow thin as a marble. He will just do nothing at all. He will just sit there in the noonday sun. Thank you.
Thanks, Jan. I was wondering where you're going for that. I'm like, did Wolcott write the Declaration of Independence? No, but yes. Anyway, let's bring ourselves now to our one of our phone guests, one of our special guests calling us all the way from, well, also Boston, like same as me. But I'm going to unmute her right now. So give me 1 second. And next person come up is someone who I was thinking of very much, especially in the last couple of days where we lost Lawrence Ferlinghetti. This woman was a friend to both men, both Lawrence and Jack Powers, the founder of Stone Soup. And I know she probably would have been calling Lawrence Ferlinghetti a couple of months from now to let them know that Stone Soup was turning 50 in the most unusual circumstances known to man to date. Give us time. But I'm glad she called me. I was trying to call her yesterday to see if she was okay, but I couldn't get around to it. But I'm glad she called me first tonight to make sure she could get on tonight. So it's great to have her now. Let's welcome up Carol Weston.
Oh, hi.
Hey, Carol.
Yes. Huh. Well, the house is a mess. And this is to Fred Lawrence, founder of the Lonergan Religious Conference at Boston College. The house is a mess. I need Hercules to run a river through my Aegean stables. Perhaps the River Charles could do it. I cannot clean my house alone. And this one is Colorado to Nancy Stetson, writer and healer, making foot treatments. Standing on the top of the mountain, we bent forward, looking between our legs at the upside down mountain landscape. Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Carol.
Thank you so much, Carol. And we are moving now to our next person, coming all the way from New York and dealing now with the first now we're part of her first couple hours post COVID vaccine. Is this the first dose or the second dose? It's the first, right? Whoops, you're on mute. You're not muted yet.
How'd you do with the first dose?
How did I know it was the first dose?
How'd you do? When
I got the first dose, the first dose was fine. Mostly, keep hydrated and don't be afraid to switch painkillers. I had to go from ibuprofen to Aleve, and the Aleve helped me 20 times more. And under the,
Was it Pfizer? Did you have the Pfizer?
I did not have the Pfizer. I had the Moderna, or as I call it, the
Oh.
funky cold Moderna. And your side effects were probably going to be maybe a little different, but mine were primarily joint pain.
Oh, geez.
So it wasn't bad for me. It wasn't too bad for me. Just like mostly in the morning, and of course they tell you to take painkillers, proactively. So I would do that before you go to bed, and I would definitely hydrate yourself very well before going to bed and once you get up. That seems to help too.
Yeah, I drank a lot of water. I just all I wanted to do. I'm just a little tired.
You'll be good. But yeah, the second dose, don't make any plans the next day.
So I heard. I said, oh boy.
But yeah, I mean, I was the most unusual person of anyone who I know who's taken it, because the primary symptoms that most people reported were fever and again, pain, aches and pains. I had an
But that
upset.
was Moderna. That was the Moderna.
That was Moderna, but the weird thing is that for 2 days I had an upset stomach, but I could eat, and then on the third day, that's when I had everything. And everyone else who took it at my workplace, they were sick the next day. Out of 5 people who are smart, who are geniuses enough to take it at the same time, 4 of those people didn't come to work. And only one person was able to power through it.
Wow.
So give yourself a rest day.
Okay. March 24th is when I go back.
Yeah, good luck.
Shit. Okay. These foolish things remind me of you. This is new shit. Inspired by Ella Fitzgerald. At a bar off Waverly Place, I sat by myself, imbibed gin and tonic thoughts, stared at solitary candles and coupled daffodils inside glass jars. The piano by the corner, unoccupied. If keys could recollect, would they play it again, Sam? Mia's Garbo, U.S. Crosby, Never Bergman, or Bogart. Cigarette butts kissed by lipstick. Reminiscence rose from ashtrays. The bartender knew better, paid attention to 20-somethings instead. My mind time traveled, an airline ticket to Capri, paradise lost on a sunny beach. Gardenia essence hugged our pillows. That trip to Ile-de-France, the midnight train to Paris. Foolish things burned strawberry incense. My heart flew too high and fell. Loneliness lit another pipe dream and cigarette. Your ghost reborn in smoke. Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you. Ooh, didn't realize I was unmuted until now. Let's welcome up next on to our open mic, our second caller, our second regular caller via phone. She can't see your little emojis, but she knows you're listening and appreciative. So let's ask her to unmute by pressing *6, and welcome up Nancy Dotson.
The present. Oh, tell the time, thy beautiful clock. The whole world tells the time. Some hours ahead in the UK, some hours behind in the USA. Never late, but exactly so. One wakes with the chimes, resting as I'm always asleep. I hope that beauty is loved, with hand-painted figures of cats, running as the cats hear chiming. Oh, tell thy time, thy beautiful clock. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong.
Nice.
Yay.
Yeah. Thanks, Nancy.
Thank you. Thanks, Nancy.
Thank you.
Oops. And who do we have next? Yes, of course. We have Mr. James Van Looy to close out this round.
Yeah, thanks, Chad. So I've got a Ferlinghetti poem here because Ferlinghetti was very important to Stone Soup, and actually Jack originally had the inspiration to open the storefront that he originally had Stone Soup in down in Cambridge Street from Ferlinghetti because he went out there as a teenager and visited Ferlinghetti in the early 1950s. So there was a sense in which Ferlinghetti and Ferlinghetti came and read, as did Ginsberg and many of those other folks who actually started off with the early readings that kind of transformed what poetry readings were in the 1950s. So I wanted to read this poem that he wrote in 2006 called Poetry as Insurgent Art. I am signaling you through the flames. I am signaling through the flames. The North Pole is not where it used to be. Manifest destiny is no longer manifest. Civilization self-destructs. Nemesis is knocking at the door. What are poets for in such an age? What is the use of poetry? The state of the world calls out for poetry to save it. If you would be a poet, create works capable of answering the challenge of apocalyptic times, even if this meaning sounds apocalyptic. You are Whitman. You are Poe. You are Mark Twain. You are Emily Dickinson and Edna St. Vincent Millay. You are Neruda and Mayakovsky and Pasolini. You are American or non-Americans. You can conquer the conquerors with words. And let me finish with a quick song. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, bright, blessed day, dark, sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow so pretty in the sky are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
That was very lovely. And I think given how exhausted everyone is, we might want to, I don't know if anyone wants to do a second round robin. It might be good to turn in tonight, especially since half of us have been beaten by the day and the other half are are medicated. So it might be a good idea to call it a night. You guys did it, and it's an endurance test doing this sometimes every week. I don't know if I'll be doing it every week after year 50, but I've told myself Stone Soup will be as weekly as it can be under reason until the 50th anniversary month, and then things just might have to change because I'm getting older. So I'm almost as old as Stone Soup, not quite, but close to it.
Oh,
so, I know.
Kids, young children. Oh my goodness.
Oh, be quiet. Anyway, talk about child. Anyway, I'm not that bitter yet. I'm not that bitter yet. What's that?
I need Bill's energy.
I know.
I'm
Tell
falling
me
asleep.
about it. I need at
feeling
least the
very
energy. I need the energy of Bill and like the two people behind him right now. So
You've got to be there, man. You've got to use your energy. Life is beautiful.
oh dear Lord. So I'm going to take this advantage to call an early night and hopefully have some announcements tomorrow and mostly because everyone's set was so good. And we haven't done a round robin for a while because we've had features into, since the year started, almost since like the end of last year. So I for me to shift gears wouldn't feel fair. And we can talk about more plans coming up for as we get closer to year 50. The more I see how people are reacting, the more I hear about cases. One of my cousin's kids actually got sick. He and 4 other people who are living in a college house. And I'm like, how'd they get it? My mom's like, well, I guess they all went somewhere and got it. I'm like, you stupid fucks. But so the more I'm seeing this, the more I think even in our best day, even as everyone's talking about America, reopening America, and Massachusetts getting maybe a little bit too excited about it, it seems to me that Stone Soup's 50th is going to be remote. I don't see it any other way, but I hope we can make this as memorable as can be, and I hope that when we do all meet, we can have a retroactive, get together celebration and keep on going with that. As a side note, I'll just say that for anyone who wants to do a Ferlinghetti tribute, I would be willing to publish them at Oddball, and I'm going to be looking for people who have drawn Ferlinghetti's likeness and other artists. And hopefully somebody might be able to pair up some of that art with some of your words you might write. I'm surprised Joshua Corwin, as I haven't heard from him, and he actually is public. He's been published alongside Ferlinghetti. He was lucky enough for that to happen. So he knew who Ferlinghetti was. So I hope he's not too devastated. I've been trying to reach out to a lot of people. But that being said, I'll probably post tonight a reminder for an anthology, which I believe is called Reimagining America from Mark Lipman. The deadline for that is going to be this Monday, and I'm hoping a few of you can join with that. And other than that, I think that's it, people. I'm a little out of gas, and I have to help my girlfriend out with something. So it's best that we do a quick departure. Let's try and do the very tired wave. I'm like, hey. I won't have to tell people to pause and stop because we're all that tired.
So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, goodbye.
Dear Lord.
I'm so tired.
Thanks for meeting this week, guys.
Thank
And
you, guys.
more announcements coming. Check out my website. I'm going to be doing some more writings, publishing more stuff. And Oddball seems to be doing a lot of calls for publication, including for essays. And I guess there's a zine coming up that's got to come out, and I don't know how the hell I'm going to be part of it. And apparently there's also a poetry contest. I'm the last to find out about this too. So take a look over at Oddball and look at the submission opportunities, and we'll take it from there.
And I guess you're probably judging it too, right, Chad?
Who the fuck knows? I judge myself every day. I don't need any help, but we'll take it from there. Thank you guys very much. And
I wanted to say to John,
oh,
Jack had a good friend who was called the Wombat. So your Wombat is completely and totally Stone Soup. Okay.
Yeah.
Long live the Wombat.
Yeah, you know how it is. You go to Australia, you give them a chocolate biscuit, and they follow you home. What can you do?
Oh, the wily Wombat.
See you guys next week.
Have a good night, guys.
Wily Wombat.
Wishing you all rest and energy for the weekend, and see you next week. Show's over. See you next time.
Ciao.
Grails.